All right, so now I remember what I'm reacting to, and this is actually probably going to be a a really good video, I guess, or maybe a really bad video, because I'm going to get to the root of how chose to seek the human in me. Um, about what 3 years ago, I had started talking to a girl that I worked with, and into talking with her, I, developed feelings for her because we shared a lot of intellectual ideals, at least, and we were able to, at least at the time, I think it was just more so the fact that having someone listen to my ramblings and like respond to them and actually like continue a conversation with me helped maybe form that connection for me. And if you know anything about someone who at the time is dealing with like depression and thoughts of not wanting to be alone, the attachment came very quickly, right? So when we finally just connected, it was very, very quickly ruined by our traumas. And I can only talk from my experience with my trauma with just sex alone, and when that when that kind of like got in the way of the relationship, uh, when I had gained into those patterns of trying to disassociate. Anybody with trauma like this will know that during sexual interactions, there is a default mode of trying to disassociate from the experience. Even if you are enjoying the experience, you're still trying to disassociate as much as possible, as instead of, tapping into that experience. And I don't want to go into it deeper because I feel like it would trigger a number of people, who may have not even thought about this in that way. So, in moving forward, that completely destroyed what we were having, because she could feel the dissociation, and I could feel that the rush that black women tend to have to want to jump into sex. But that's on a deeper level, something that we have evolved into doing through becoming like breeded like fucking animals. We are animals, but like when we were being breeded like farm animals, we had to quickly build sexual relations very quickly, very fast, even without knowing a person too far into who they are, being comfortable with sharing our bodies with each other, because we were being bred. And even that trigger warning, I'm so sorry, even that is hard to grasp. And I'm coming from this from a place of deep like healing and walking and experiencing, to know like, yo, this is where we're how we get to where we're at today, right? So she felt that way. I didn't understand that during the time. So I spent the next couple of years really trying to get at what that was. To get at like, how could I have been in a situation with someone who could understand me and who I could feel like I could understand, and or I felt like understood me, and it didn't work. Um, and a trait that I tend to have is where I blame me. I tend to look at where I made mistakes. It's part of the reason why I read. It's part of the reason why I learn, because I'm always constantly thinking that if I was better, that things would work the way I want them to work. So I'm constantly trying to be better because I want things to work the way that I desire for them to work, right? And it's funny because now I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm so glad that didn't work, you know? Like, it's like, I'm so glad that we didn't attach ourselves to each other, because we would have dragged each other down into such a dark, unexplored place that we haven't explored within ourselves, that it would have led to destruction. It would have led to absolute destruction. And as someone who likes to build, as someone who likes to grow, it would have led me to somewhere. And I mean, a lot of my friends, people who were close to me, kind of felt that I was in this dark place of contemplation on how this thing could slip through my fingers. And thinking and reflecting back on it now, and I'm like, shit, I just wasn't built. I wasn't ready. I wasn't mature enough. I didn't explore me enough. And I would have made massive decisions, massive mistakes that would have drastically changed my life and my outlook on life. And I would not have gotten to where I am today. So after her just kind of, we talked, continued to talk on the phone, but she kind of just like let me know like it just wasn't what she felt anymore. And I couldn't, at the time I respected it, but I couldn't respect it. I'm just like, how, But what that led me to do was I ended up, reading to learn more about myself, how to be more desirable, how to be more, how to really be someone could love, but not understanding that I needed to learn how to love myself. So the first book that I ran into post dealing with that situation is The 48 Laws of Power. And 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is a good book to read when you're trying to climb a corporate ladder, when you want to identify the different power tactics that people use against you, or that you may use against people in your life to gain dominance in a specific situation. And now, please understand, people try to dominate each other. It's a very human, it's a very animalistic thing that we all do. We do it subconsciously, but as someone who's been trying to, I guess, expand my consciousness further outside of myself, I tend to see that happen quite regularly with people, where we have these little things that we do to try to dominate one another, to get, because in our understanding, we think that if we can get you to on this level of understanding with us, we can get you to at least agree with us to do something, whether it be like as small as like, hey, I need you to not make me feel uncomfortable, So you might use a power tactic of like, of giving someone a side-eyed look that makes them feel self-conscious, and through that self-conscious, through making them feel subconscious, you gain dominance over them, so that you can eventually tell them like, hey, when you talk to me a certain way, it makes me uncomfortable, and now you're able to operate in a area of comfortability because you have asserted your dominance by exposing someone's insecurity. And that's just a small level. But going back to that, oh my God, this might be like a fucking 30-minute video. Oh, I hope not. I'm just going to try to keep this crisp, keep this concise, because I want people to respond. I want people to talk about things in the comment section, I guess. I don't know. It's whatever. I'm probably not going to check the shit. I don't even know why I put stuff on YouTube, to be honest, because I have been trying to get away from YouTube, get away from things reaching my consciousness through an algorithm, honestly. But I have to talk about how I grew and developed through this situation. So through buying the 48 Laws of Power and reading that, the person who sold me the book told me that the next book I should and ultimately desired to get into was The Laws of Human Nature, also by Robert Greene, which was much more the thing that I was interested in. And reading that book and understanding how we think, it's not like a deep, I mean, it's deeper than what I was used to at the time, but it's not, going back to where I'm at now, it's not as deep as you could get in understanding your nature. And I think the reason why is because you want to sell books. You don't want to tell people that they are the monsters that they criticize. You don't want people to identify with the monster that they might be and who they became, because that for me was, and it still is, something that I struggle with. Understanding that I am not a hero, that I don't deserve to be held or above anyone else, that I shouldn't be placed before anyone else, that I shouldn't even feel the need to choose who gets to live and who doesn't. That just isn't my place, because I don't necessarily have that space, because I'm just as terrible as everyone else. So that was part of the growth in 2020, 2021, 2022. I still did a lot of toxic shit through that growth. A lot of shit that I guess I would probably talk about, maybe. To be honest with you, I don't know. I feel like if I get to that point, I feel like that right there, that level of understanding, that level of like honesty, wanting to share that honestly. There's a level of I'm rambling. I am rambling. Oh my God.